Well, hello there, what's up? My name's Cormando, and welcome to my review of WWE SummerSlam 2016. And it's kind of going to be a bit of a similar-ish review as my NXT TakeOver, in that I felt that it was kind of underwhelming. There was a couple of great matches. One in particular, I would say, was like probably one of the best matches of the year so far. But a lot of the matches were just kind of, eh. It's not like they were lacking action like some of the matches at Takeover. There was action, but they were lacking that like high impact moves or like close to falls or uh, just it was just lacking. There was action, but it was just lacking. That's kind of the best way to describe it. Um, But let's get in depth here. I don't think it's going to be too long because I don't really have much to say about all the matches because most of them were much and such went the same way. But we'll start with the pre-show. Something I want to say I did take note was there was a very funny Chris Jericho Kevin Owens promo. You didn't see it. You need to see it. It's on the pre-show, so it's free. You can see it on YouTube. Very good promo, very funny, just excellent. These two guys are just work so well together. Taking the piss out of Tom Phillips and all that stuff, talking about chemistry and all this other stuff. Just excellent stuff. And Baron Corbin also had a promo, saying how he's supposed to have a match with Kalisto, but then Kalisto's at home with his wife and I think he said, in Spanish he said something, I can't even remember, but I did look it up at the time, and I think it said, "I'll see you soon, my friend." I think that's what he said in Spanish. It was an alright promo, he just came out and interrupted Booker T and all that, and said he had a better watch than Booker T or something. Booker T was kind of pissed at that. But yeah, it was actually an alright promo. It seems like he was going a bit Heidenreich style this past week on SmackDown when he attempted to rape Kalisto, pretty much. But I did think they might have added that much, but I'm glad they didn't because the show was too long as it was. It wasn't as long as WrestleMania. It just went over the 4 hour mark, or 6 hours if you count the pre-show crap. But I don't think there was anything else to discuss about the pre-show. It was just typical old stuff. Obviously, I'm going to get to the matches in a second, but I don't think there was anything else to talk about there. But on the first match, anyway, I was pissed off at this because, why? It was the same crap at WrestleMania. Why put them out there when I would doubt if there was even a quarter of the arena full? I was like, that's just insulting. But then the match happened, I was like, well, who the fuck cares? Most of that match, I would say 80%, 90% even, maybe 80, 75% was just rest holds. That's it, rest holds. No lies, just rest holds. And then all of a sudden at the end, maybe the last, say, I don't know, 3-4 minutes maybe, they actually started doing some action. I was like, well, why couldn't you have an even mix of this instead of just boring us to fucking tears for 10 minutes? Literally, no exaggeration, about 10 minutes, and then you actually decide to do some action, have everybody hitting their signature moves and finishers and what have you. I was kind of disappointed that the heels didn't win, so I would have liked them, gotten a win, but the faces won. I actually kind of liked the way they did it because it ended with Jason Jordan and Chad Gable doing their finisher to Simon Gotch, but then as they hit the Grand Amplitude, Jade tagged in, hot the splash and won, and they were sort of teasing tension between the Usos and American Alpha. So maybe those two, if they have like a tournament for the tag titles, I could see those two being the final two teams, and they were teased a little tension there. So that was about it. But honestly, it was just a rest hold fest for 10 minutes, and then they actually decided to do some action. There was some good stuff at the end. Don't get me wrong, there was some good stuff, but if there's a bit of more even, like if there was more action involved and not just straight out rest holds for ages, you know what I'm saying? But apart from that, that was about it really. But like I said, the ending was pretty decent. After that, like I said, not much to talk about the pre-show. Sasha Banks was in the social media lounge answering her questions. Not much to say there. Moving on to the Dudley Boys versus Sami Zayn and Neville, which Sami Zayn and Neville won, and it was 7 minutes 55. I don't know if I mentioned the first match, but it was 40 minutes 32 seconds. But the Sami Zayn and Neville match, I don't really remember much about it. Apart from it ended the exact way I told you it would end, with bloody Bubba clothesline and Devon, and then Zayn tags and Neville. No, well, Zayn hit the haluva kick, tagged in Neville, and hit the red arrow. This isn't described well in this recap. It's not described right. Oh yeah, it is actually. It is. But apart from that, basic tag match. Not really much to say about it. There was a couple of good tag team moves from Zayn and Neville. I wouldn't be opposed to those two teaming up. Maybe beef up the tag division, since they're not doing anything else with them. They did do some couple of cool moves, but nothing special. Just a basic kind of tag match you see all the time. Sami Zayn and Neville won. Moving on. Nothing much about the network. There was a cool promo about all the stuff we're going to see on the network. I thought it was kind of cool. It showed all the different things, and they were bragging about how there's now going to be 17 pay-per-views a year or some shit, and I was like, that's not really something to brag about. Quality over quantity. You should go for it, WWE. I know you don't, but you should. And they promoted the Backlash pay-per-view, which is likely where they'll crown tag champions and women's champions, but I'm not looking forward to it, because it's likely going to look exactly like all the other titles they've created lately, but we'll get onto that little rant in a little bit. But next, we have Sheamus versus Cesaro. This is still in the pre-show. 40 minutes 10 seconds with Sheamus winning. I thought this was a good match. Good, hard-hitting match. Action from start to finish. I liked it. It wasn't amazing, but it was good. It was probably one of the better matches of the entire show. Both guys getting in all their moves. At one point, Sheamus hit a Green Bay plunge or rolling senton from the middle rope. That was pretty sweet. Like I said, hitting all their moves, white noise. At one point, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure Cesaro, he almost did his thing where he did like the total whirl. He was going to go for the neutralizer, but then Sheamus, I think he countered it with like the white noise or something. But eventually it ends with them going back and forth, like going for each other's finishers. Sheamus pokes Cesaro in the eye, rams him into the ring post, which the ring post looked pretty cool today. They had them like with this like big plastic LED board things around it. I thought it looked pretty cool, pretty different, and it also led, speaking of that, it led to a cool moment in this match where Cesaro stood on this ring post, because there was this big bloody like hexagon shaped thing. He stood on it and then jumped on the rope and then hit a crossbody. It was a really cool moment. But yeah, Cesaro got poked in the eye bollock, rammed it in the shoulder, got a brogue, and Sheamus won. Good match. I enjoyed it. After that was pretty much the end of the pre-show, and we go into SummerSlam, and it kicks off with Enzo Amore and Big Cass getting beat by Jericho. 12 minutes 8 seconds. Pretty basic tag match, the same sort of thing that you see all the time in WWE tag matches. Nothing really to shout home about or write home about, whatever that saying is. The best thing about it, in my opinion, was Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho's trash talking, especially Kevin Owens. He's just so good at it. He really is. He's hilarious. And at one point, he did something to Enzo, and then he started doing his like Enzo's weird fucking dance thing that he does, where he does like that one. I don't know what the hell that is, but he started doing that, and the crowd went nuts for it. They were laughing. But basic tag match eventually ends with Amore hitting what they're calling the DDG. That's what Cole called it, which is that DDT from the top rope. But Owens breaks it up. Amore goes after Owens. Owens and Jericho connect with a pop-up codebreaker, which was almost sort of botched. I think Jericho was on the verge of doing it again, but the crowd reacted well, and it looked like Amore hit his face off Jericho's shin. because it looked like when you seen Jericho's face, I thought, oh, he's going to pick him up and do it again. But the crowd reacted so well, and it looked brutal, and he just pinned him. It was pretty sweet, and I'm surprised to see them win. So maybe they're going to continue on as a team, which I would love to see because they've been doing some great stuff. And at the same time, I wasn't really surprised because I think I did mention it that WWE don't often let people win in their hometowns. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe it's just for a cheap heat or whatever. But yeah, I liked it. I liked that they won, and it was a cool way to end it, to end the match. After this, there was like a thing backstage with Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon, and they speak with Mick Foley, and he says that the SmackDown match will be good, but Raw's will be better. Okay. Then Jon Stewart comes in, and he's speaking to him, and he was saying how much for like pretty much he was calling Stephanie McMahon a bitch. And then Stephanie's like standing behind him, and she gets pissed off. Then Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods come in, and they're eating bootios, and everybody starts putting their hands into the thing and eating it. Gross. And then eventually Kofi and Xavier, go away with Stewart, and they have some plans for him or something. But that was about it. It was a pretty decent little segment. And next match, which I thought was surprising to see it so early, was Sasha Banks versus Charlotte, which, shocker of the night, Charlotte beat Sasha Banks. Did not see that coming at all. The match was 30 minutes 51 seconds, and it was the second best match of the night. I thought it was awesome. Just straight up action from start to finish. Couldn't have asked for anything better in my opinion. I did not expect Charlotte to win, I really didn't. I just read a thing that apparently Sasha is injured. Now I don't know if this is true, but this is what's being said on the sites, that she's been removed from all live events through September. Needed time off for nagging injuries, and the title loss has been in the works for about a week. Seems kind of odd to give her the title if that was the case, but I did think it was a really surprising and shocking moment. Good moment. I can imagine people are pretty pissed off about it. Only thing is, Charlotte's champion again. I know she's a good heel, but I just hope it leads to someone else becoming champion. But there's no one else really on Raw that could become champion. And there's no other, I don't think there is any other faces. I mean, unless you count Alicia Fox, but she kind of changes face and heel whenever they feel the need to have her go up against whoever. But some people were saying that Sasha was suspended or something, or that people was thinking she was suspended or injured during the match. But it says that she just needs time to heal off, and she's currently scheduled to be back at September 23rd. So yeah, there's that. But I thought it was a great match. Even though she lost, I wasn't disappointed. It was a nice, shocking way to end it. But like I said, great match with many great moments. There was a couple of Hurricane Runners. There was an insane moment, an absolutely insane moment, where Charlotte had Sasha up on the top rope. Looks like she was going for like a razor's edge or something off the top rope. Sasha countered it into a fucking Hurricane Rana or Frankensteiner. I don't really know what the difference is between those two moves. If you know, tell me in the comments. But I don't really know the difference. Morrow called it a Frankensteiner, or Cole called it, or Graves. Somebody called it a Frankensteiner. That was so awesome. That was an awesome moment. It looked like Sasha landed on her head again, similar to Brooklyn a year ago, where she did the reverse, or Bailey did the reverse Hurricane Rana Frankensteiner. But honestly, it was a great match. It really was a great match. Just back and forth, loads of good moves. Sasha had a Boston Crab like Tajiri style with the tarantula and the ropes, which I thought was really cool and unique. Never seen anything like that before. Eventually, Charlotte goes for like a tilt-over slam type of thing. Sasha counters with a bank statement. And then Charlotte countered that with a roll-up and a pin, and I was honestly shocked. So was the whole crowd. Just great match, and shocking. And props to WWE for that. Even if it is true that Sasha's injured or what have you, I was surprised to see that. And props to WWE for actually doing something unpredictable. Because if Sasha had won, it'd have been like, oh, it's predictable, blah blah blah. People would be complaining about it. So I give props to WWE for that. After that backstage segment with Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, they're still searching for a cure for ring postitis, and they're carrying around Big E's balls, or ball, and they speak to AJ Styles and talking about beating up John Cena, and then Finn Balor walks up. They go for a too sweet thing with him, but Finn Balor just walked away. That was that. Next, we have The Miz versus Apollo Crews, and it's only 5 minutes 45. I don't really remember much about this match at all, apart from The Miz's entrance, where he had on this weird mask thing, and Maryse was looking pretty good. Not gonna lie, she was looking really good. But I don't really remember much about the match, to be quite honest. Let me see the recap, see what it said. I don't really remember much about it at all. Maryse distracts Crews and Miz goes for the skull crusher finale. Crews fights out of it. Miz shows Crews into the corner. Crews hits the ring post. Miz hits skull crusher finale and gets the win. It was a short match. No, there wasn't really anything else happened. No, not really. Yeah, that was about it. Not much to really say about it. I really don't. This show didn't need to be 4 hours or 6 hours long. They could have, like at this match, they could have gotten rid of matches. They could have gotten rid of. I'll talk about it now. All the pre-show stuff, get rid. The Miz match, the women tag match. They could have gotten rid of that. They probably could have gotten rid of some other stuff. That would be the ones I would have gotten rid of. This easily could have been a 3-hour pay-per-view. It easily could have. It didn't need to be 4 hours. But after that, we get on to the next match, which is match of the night by far. By far, this was match of the night. We go on to John Cena getting defeated. Yes, defeated by AJ Styles. 23 minutes 10 seconds. This was a phenomenal match. Pun intended. Seriously, I was shocked as hell near the end of it. It was just a phenomenal match. Both guys getting all their moves. Great back and forth action. Same as Sasha Banks Charlotte. Straight up action from start to finish. I couldn't believe Cena hit the AA from like the middle rope. Because when they hit that, I thought, oh well, that's it. This has been his move for defeating people the last couple of years. And Styles kicked out, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. I was actually doing that, and then all the bloody crowd started doing it as well. I honestly could not believe it. And Cena had this like shocked look on his face. He was like, what the fuck? I thought that was a really cool moment. There's a thing here. It says Styles takes Cena down with a Frankensteiner and then phenomenal forearm. That might have been one of the times when he was going for that AA thing. I think it was just before that. Cena goes for the AA again. Styles counters it into the Styles Clash. Then Styles. My only maybe nitpicking, but I feel the Styles Clash should be more of a match finishing move in my opinion. But I was okay with this. He hit the Styles Clash, rolled the apron, hit the phenomenal forearm, and got the win. Amazing match. Definitely a contender for match of the year. By far, match of the show, match of the weekend, match of the week, whatever. Great match. Phenomenal match. And there's so many moments I could talk about. Looking at the recap here, I could talk about so much, but there was too much. It was just a great match. Absolutely great match. Must see match. Go see it if you haven't seen it. And after the match, it was a kind of a, I don't know, cool kind of moment where Cena took off like his armband thing. I think he gave it a little smooch and then he left it in the ring. And the fans were sort of clapping or what have you. So maybe he is taking a break or what have you. It's been rumoured he's taking a break to film some more TV stuff or what have you. After this, Jon Stewart comes out, cutting a promo, saying that he's going to be an honorary member of the New Day, and he leads the crowd into Big E's opening. He was alright, he was okay. I do like the guy, but he wasn't really in. He didn't really do the entrance thing well, but the crowd took over and the crowd did it right. He was too like slow paced in the way he was talking. But the crowd took over and then he just shut up and then they did their thing. The whole world famous two-time champs thing. That thing. That's what the crowd did. But we are moving on to the next match, which was Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson defeated the New Day, but it was by disqualification. 9 minutes 9 seconds. Again, it was a decent tag match, but nothing, amazing. It was better than the other ones in the show. Woods is awesome. I just think that's a great move. Where he's on the top rope and then he walks along like the rope, and then springboards into an elbow. That's a really cool move. Really like that. He's done it against AJ Styles before. I think maybe one other time I've seen him do it. Great move. But eventually, come the end of it, Anderson and Gallows hit the Magic Killer, but Stewart gets in the ring and he's like trying to throw up the Too Sweet thing because Woods and Gallows and that are looking to attack him. Eventually, after that, Woods comes in and attacks them. But then Gallows and that beat him up, go after Stewart again. They're about to smash him into the ring post, but then New Day's music hits. Out comes Big E and annihilates Anderson Gallows, and that's how it ended via DQ. Big E slams him into the barricade. Then he drunk the liquid stuff from the jar that had his testicle in it, which was gross. And then they were doing their dancing, and the crowd was booing Jon Stewart. I was kind of surprised at that. The crowd was kind of shit the whole night. It was an odd crowd. I was surprised to see them booing Jon Stewart after like last year, but the crowd was nowhere near as hot as last year Brooklyn. Just an odd crowd. But yeah, it was cool to see Big E return and beat people up. But I was surprised they didn't lose the titles, so I did think the titles would change hands, but I'm not against it. Moving on, we get some more promos for Holy Foley and Backlash and all that crap. And then we get on to the World Heavyweight Championship match, which was Dean Ambrose defeated Dolph Ziggler, 50 minutes 18 seconds. This match, I don't know, it's similar to some of the other matches, and what I talked about at the beginning of this review is that while it had decent action, it just never had those great moments like in Styles Cena or Charlotte Sasha Banks, like an awesome couple of awesome moves or some close two falls or false finishes or anything like that. It just sort of not roll with the punches, but it just was lacking. It was lacking those like impact moves. It was lacking something to make it memorable. They just sort of, did their thing. I'm not saying that they, like I said, roll with punches, but it was lacking something. It was lacking those great moves to make it a great match. And at one point, Ambrose like mocked Ziggler with the sweet chin music thing. But he didn't actually do it. He just went for like a dirty deeds or something. But eventually, Ziggler's up top for like a superplex type of thing. But Ambrose counters and sends him down to the mat. Ziggler rushes up once again, but then they both went down. It looked like it was not so much botched, but it just wasn't done the way they were wanting it to go. But Dean Ambrose felt like a dirty deeds and won. Not much else to say about the match. Just similar to some of the takeover matches. No, I wouldn't say similar to that, because the matches I'm talking about, Asuka, Bayley, and Nakamura Joe, were just sort of submission for the whole match. There was action. It just didn't have that great stuff like AJ Styles Cena or Charlotte Sasha. But Dean Ambrose won. After that, some video package about all the stuff they've done through the week in Brooklyn or New York or what have you. And we're on to the women's tag match, which was Nikki Bella did return, Natalya and Alexa Bliss defeating Becky, Naomi and Carmella, 11 minutes 7 seconds. Pretty much the same thing as the last match, where it was alright action, just nothing really memorable or amazing about it. I mean, also, I did not expect this, but when they introduced everyone, and then bloody even Marie's music hits, and they do her introduction, and then the guy says, "Oh, she's taking time off for something for due to like abuse from the fans or something. She needs a rested break or something in the British Isles or something." I was like, okay, what the hell? And then Nikki came out. I was like, okay. Um, but yeah, like I said, not much to say. And also, I bet Naomi's entrance was awesome again. Really like her entrance and the whole like flashing gear. Um, but you know, like I said, the action was okay. They all got to do their moves and what have you. I think at one point Alexa sort of messed up her like weird like backflip knee buster thing that she does. Not messed up, but she like hot her. She just did it weird. That's the best way to describe it. She did it weird. Um, Everybody got in their moves at the end. Um, Alexa and Natalia send Naomi at the ring post. Carmella drops Natalia and Alexa with a double drop kick, then which sent them at the ring. Then Nikki nailed Carmella with her like forearm thing and hit a TKO for the win. So that's her new finisher. Um, she was like, "I'm back now." Or she said something like, "I'm back" or something like that as she hit the TKO. Yeah, Nikki Bella, Alexa Bliss, Natalia won. I don't know. Nikki didn't seem her usual self. She didn't seem her usual like I don't know like braggadocious self. She just I don't know. She didn't seem like her usual self in the match. After that, they showed a promo for Clash of Champions where they're like, every Raw Championship will be defended. Yeah, like every other pay-per-view. But moving on, we get an interview with Rusev and Lana with Maria Menounos. And they just basically Rusev saying he's going to destroy Reigns and crush him to dust or something. And I thought, okay, well, we're going to get this match next, but no. Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins next. Now, we get on to this match, Finn Balor Seth Rollins, which Finn Balor won. The Universal title was revealed. I seen it and I'm like, that's just so. It's pretty much the exact same fucking thing as the world title except it's red. That's pretty much it. The whole leather's red, the back of it's red. It looks like shit. I'm just saying it. It looks like shit. To be quite honest, it's just unimaginative, uncreative, bland, boring. Just like why is it the same? If this is the way they're gonna go with the bloody tag titles and the other women's title that they bring in, it's just so lazy on WWE's part. So lazy. It's just I just seen it, and the crowd was chanting they want a new title. There was like chants. I can't remember the chants, and they were booing whenever the title got showed. It looked like crap. It honestly looks like crap. And I think bloody Rollins had something to say about it on Twitter. I seen something. He wasn't happy about it. With the fans chanting, but it looked like shit. It honestly looked like shit. So here it goes. More important than a title's appearance is what it represents for the men fighting over it. You really let me down tonight, Brooklyn. The title looked like crap. It did. Seeing what other people said. Nothing really important. But the title looked like shit. It really did. And again, as for the match, same as Ambrose and Ziggler, and that the action was there, but it never really amounted to anything special. That'd be a good way to describe it. It never amounted to anything special. And Finn winning, it just it happened. And I was like, okay, like it wasn't a big deal. Sure, his entrance was cool with the demon, but I'm sure people are overrating this. I haven't really seen much reaction to it, but it wasn't like it lived up to the hype at all. People were thinking this was going to be like the greatest match ever, but it didn't come up to anything amazing in my opinion. Like I say, there was action all throughout it. Just never really became a great match. Just a basic kind of match, really. Well, not basic, but just never amounted to anything special. That's the best way to put it. Eventually, though, it comes down to Rollins went for like his corkscrew thing, but Mahler moved. He dropkicked Rollins to the turnbuckle. Rollins caught him. He went for like a superplex to Balor. This isn't really describing it well, but I remember what happened anyway. Rollins went for the superplex from the top, and looked like he was going for the Falcon Arrow, but then he went for the pedigree. Balor got out of it. Balor did a stomp thing, just like on the ground, not from the top rope. Drop kicked him into the corner, delivered another drop kick, then up the coup de grace and won. But nothing amazing, nothing to I'm sure people are jizzing about it and what have you, but I don't think it was a big deal. Just like Nakamura winning, it wasn't a match that like the match didn't. I can't really describe what I'm trying to say. It was the same with Nakamura and Joe, but the match didn't feel like it was great enough that these guys became champion. If you know what I'm saying, I'm not sure how to describe it, but it didn't. It's the same like the build to the match. It didn't seem like it was the build to like crown a champion. If you know what I'm saying, that's what I'm really trying to say. Is that it didn't seem like the match was great enough that Balor becoming champion is a big deal. If that makes sense. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I've been up all night. I'm tired. I can't explain things well. After this, we go back to the pre-show people. They're talking, and then they showed that KFC commercial with Dolph and The Miz, bloody being dressed up as chickens and what have you. Moving on, we get on to the Rusev versus Reigns, which didn't even happen. It was just a brawl, which I was not against. It was alright. Reigns and that, they make their entrances. Rusev attacks Reigns before the bell, and they just brawl outside. I was like, okay, this is cool. This seemed to, honestly, this seemed like more like this should have happened on Raw, and then the match would have happened here. But I'm not against it, because that match that happened on Raw I thought was kind of boring and crap. Not so much crap, but when you sit through 3 hours of bloody crap and then you get into the match, even if it is decent, you're kind of like, I'm like that a lot with Raw. Like, you sit through so much boring crap, and then you get to something that is actually, decent. You just don't really care by that point. I think that was kind of the case there, because some people thought that was a good match, but I didn't really see it. But they had a good little back and forth brawl. Reigns hit him with the steps. Reigns got hit with the steps, got tossed into the timekeeper's area. He tossed Rusev in there. Then Rusev tried to get out, got Superman punched. Rusev starts swinging a chair, but Reigns blocked it. Gets some headbutts in, grabs the chair, nails Rusev in the stomach, starts hitting him a few times. Some more headbutts and punches, and the refs are pulling Reigns back. It looked like Reigns was going to hit some of the referees. He looked like he was getting a bit pissed at them, holding them back. And they were getting out. They were trying to pull Rusev away and get him away. Like, at this point, Reigns was gone. And then out of nowhere, Reigns comes and does a massive spear to Rusev. Fans was actually into Rusev. They were trying to one more time after the spear. But yeah, I thought it was alright. I wasn't against them just doing that, because since all the other matches was kind of just glad for them to do something different. Now, on to the main event, which was Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. Like, when Finn and that was on well, not so early, but when they happened before Lana and Rusev, Rusev and Reigns, I was like, why the hell is this not main eventing? But then the match happened, and I was like, okay, that's why. It wasn't a good match. It did seem odd that Reigns and that would still happen then, but the match didn't live up to it, so I don't really care anymore. But moving on, we're on to the Brock Lesnar Randy Orton match, which odd and surprising, to say the least, but it was surprisingly short. It was Brock Lesnar defeats Randy Orton by technical knockout, 11 minutes 45, and starts off, the basic. I think the Lesnar match formula or whatever, however you want to say it, is getting a little bit bland now or stale. Um, I think some different stuff needs to start happening from now on. I think the crowd's getting a bit sick of it too. They were still into it, but you could tell by once you got onto like the seventh bloody suplex or whatever, you could tell they were, getting a bit sick of it. Um, he hurt his suplexes and what have you. They're outside. Orton tries fighting back, but Lesnar slams on the announce table, and Orton's in the crowd. And I just fucking love Morrow. Like, also, in this match, Morrow and JBL and Byron and Corey were the commentators. And speaking of the commentators, Cole looked so pissed off when he wasn't commentating. He just looked like he just was so pissed off and that he couldn't give a fuck. You could see him in the background of matches, the matches that he wasn't calling. He just looked so pissed off and so angry. I don't know if he was jealous or what, or if he just didn't want to be there. He would rather be backstage or something, but he just looked pissed off. But Morrow, I love it when he just goes absolutely nuts. Like there was points in the AJ Styles Cena match where he actually stood up and out of disbelief that I'm kicking out and what have you. And I love it when he goes, Mamma Mia! I love it when he does that. It's so funny. Like he did it twice here, I think. I think he did it in the AJ Styles Cena match, and he did it in this match. And it was right when, after Lesnar threw Orton in the crowd, and he pulled him back in. He like just threw him in, and then that's when he did the Mamma Mia thing. I love Morrow. I think he's great. He has an insane amount of references, and I'm always googling stuff, whatever he says. I'm always googling words because I'm like, what the hell does that mean? He's a smart fella. But they destroyed that announce table. They destroyed another one, it says. I can't remember what he did. I don't think they did. I think they just destroyed the one. Yeah, I think it was just the one they destroyed. It was Morrow's one, the SmackDown one, and then Orton had the RKO on the Raw one. Bit of a weird miscommunication, misinformation here on this recap. After this, they get in the ring. Orton drops him with the middle rope DDT, which looked nasty, looked really nasty. Orton goes for the RKO and hits it, pin, but Lesnar kicked out. Orton backed away and goes for the punt, which you obviously know he did not hit. Lesnar catches him with the F5, but Orton kicks out too. Now this is when it got fucking nasty. Lesnar took his gloves off and starts hitting some rights and lefts, but it was the elbows and the forearms. Oh my god, there was two of them that legit hit him. Legit. And I just was like, oh my god, that is nasty. Nasty. Like people say like wrestling is fake and stuff, but they get hit, That's something that pisses me off when people say that, like, oh, wrestling's fake or whatever. They get hurt, And sure, sometimes like the punches and what have you, or they're not hitting them, but like at this, they were hitting, and Orton was busted open big time. But for a minute I was like, oh my god, that is insanely brutal, because there was a lot of blood. And then when the guy came in with the towel and wiped it, and I thought, oh, maybe this is I don't know, a blood sachet job or something. I don't know, because like Orton had stuff on his hands, but then you could actually see the cut, and I was like, oh my god, it was a cut like here, and it was nasty, and there was a lot of blood, and the referees and that were in, and you can't boo that. That guy Orton was legitimately hurt there. You can't boo the guys getting in there and trying to help Orton out. That's a nasty cut. Could do some serious damage. I mean, the head up here. You don't want to be messing with that. And the guys are in. Try to help him. And Lesnar started coming again and started hitting him, but he wasn't actually hitting him in the head this time. Orton was blocking. He was just sort of hitting him like around the shoulders or on the arms. He wasn't actually hitting him in the head. So I don't know if this was the way they actually planned it. Did they legit plan, like, okay, Orton, Brock Lesnar's gonna legitimately bust you open here? I don't know. I don't know how, if they would actually go that way. That seems, I don't know, that seems like a weird thing to do. It's like, okay, Orton, Brock here's gonna, legitimately hurt you and bust you open. I don't know. I don't know. Tell me how you feel about that. But he starts beating him up a little bit, and they pull him away. There was a Goldberg chant, a rather loud Goldberg chant. I thought, okay, maybe somebody will come out. That's what I was expecting, was someone to maybe come out and beat up Lesnar or have a stare down or something. But eventually the bell rings. Brock is declared winner via technical knockout or TKO. He starts beating up Orton again, just again punches or what have you, but not actually hitting the head. Then Shane McMahon comes down and gets in the ring. He's standing face to face with Lesnar, and he's like telling him like get out of the way. He's wanting to get to his guy, and every time we try to go, Lesnar would go that way. He would go that way, you know. And then Lesnar hits the bloody F5 in him. I don't know. I got a vibe that wasn't like planned or what have you. It probably was, but maybe it was just done well. But I got a feeling, I don't know, just the way Shane was looking. Maybe it just looked like Shane was legitimately hurt. 'Cause he was like holding his chest or what have you. Maybe he got hurt from it. I don't know. Or maybe he just sold it well. I don't know. Maybe that's what they were hoping, was to sell it well, to make it look like a legitimate, you know, beating, or if Brock went nuts or what have you. I don't think so. I have a feeling it was, you know, meant to go that way, but at the same time, you know, it's weird for them to say, you know, okay, Orton, you know, Brock's gonna legitimately beat the shit out of you. It just seems odd to me. But yeah, F5 and like Paul Heyman's like going nuts. He's like, oh my god, what are you doing, Brock? What are you doing? And telling him to stop, and then they get out the ring, and SummerSlam ended like that. I thought that was a shocking way to end it. I honestly, when he hit those elbows on Orton, it was so nasty, so nasty. Did not see it ending that way at all. It was shocking. Surprised they went that way with it, and I can't believe I spoke 42 minutes. I thought this was going to be a quick kind of review because I didn't have much to say about it. I didn't feel anyway. But yeah, that's how it ended. It was an alright match. You know, the Brock Orton thing was different. It was different from everything else. But by far, match of the night, Cena versus AJ, just incredible. Then Charlotte, Sasha, then I don't know. Then I would just maybe say Sheamus, Cesaro, and then the rest was all equally, you know, they were all, you know, nothing to really write home about or whatever that bloody saying is. I would maybe Brock and Orton I'd put after Sheamus and Cesaro, but it was lacking. It was really lacking. Like I said, all the matches was lacking something to make them special. But yeah, that's about it. There's not any other news, just that whole thing with Sasha apparently, you know, losing the title for that reason. I said I wasn't happy about the title. I really hope they don't go with the new titles. Just why are they all looking the same? The world title, the women's title, this title are all the same, just a different bloody color. And it's just shit. Honestly, it's just red, and it's just unimaginative and uncreative. Like, I'm sure people will come up with better designs than bloody the WWE Create-A-Belt thing on the WWE 2K games. I didn't actually see a video, but I seen it like in the recommendations for like designs for bloody the title, and just going by the thumbnail, it looked cool. I never actually watched the video, but they could have come up with something so much better. It's just lazy on their part. It honestly is lazy, and I said it before, unimaginative, uncreative, or what have you. Just, I wasn't happy with that at all. I really wasn't. But I haven't watched the bloody WWE like exclusives. I never had a chance because it's kind of late now, and I want to get this done before I go to work. So I'll see if I get some of that watched now. I don't know if I will. It's like 7:10. I honestly didn't think I was going to yap this long, 44 minutes. I really didn't think I would. But like I said, there's no more news to talk about. Oh yeah, there's plans that Samoa Joe and Bailey are apparently going to be called up to the main roster soon. And Joe, they said it was rumoured that he would debut at SummerSlam, but obviously that didn't happen. And if he is, he's going to be on the SmackDown show. And it says here, if he were to debut at SummerSlam tonight, it seems the AJ Styles vs John Cena match would be a perfect time. I don't know why it says that. Um, so yeah, but that's the only news there is to talk about. I'm gonna end this now because this has went on way too long. I really didn't think I would talk this long. I didn't. I'll have a look through this and I'm like, how the hell did I end up yapping this long? But I did. But that's my review. Overall, I'd probably give it maybe a C, B at the very most. I mean, Cena, Styles, and Charlotte and Sasha were great. The rest just didn't live up to the hype at all. That would be the best way to describe it. But feel free to tell me your thoughts. And also, I know this is really long, and if anybody does stick through it, I appreciate it. But what I do is like stick this sort of thing on the background. This is something you can stick on in the background and do other stuff and listen to it like a podcast or what have you. So if you are just sort of flicking through the video, do it that way or watch it in parts or what have you. That's what I would do. But yep, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you in a few weeks for the now 2 pay-per-views a month's crap. Yay. Totes looking forward to that.